Meanwhile, honor and remembrance for three sailors killed in a crash from last week. It was an emotional ceremony at Naval Station Norfolk for Lieutenant Wesley Van Dorn, Lieutenant Sean Snyder, and Petty Officer 3rd Class Brian Collins. The three were killed when their MH-53E Sea Dragon helicopter crashed in the frigid Atlantic Ocean off Virginia Beach. Today's memorial was closed to the public, but 10 on Your Side's Art Kohn was one of the few local journalists invited. He joins us now in the studio. Art?
You know, Tom, we've been covering every aspect of this story since just minutes after the crash last week. And while that's been a very involved process, I can tell you that today was indeed difficult. Difficult for the families they leave behind, for the shipmates they served with, and the friends they made in Hampton Roads. Well before the ceremony began, they started filling the auditorium at Naval Station Norfolk. They came from all directions. Many were shipmates, and many others were friends and family members of the three crewmen killed in the crash. All 1,200 seats in the auditorium were filled, with another 1,000 people standing along the outside aisles.
Many of them have been through it before, and so they understand. And that show of, I think, respect and to honor and remember the lives of our three fallen shipmates, speaks volumes.
Out of respect for the families, cameras were not allowed inside, but we witnessed a very emotional ceremony celebrating the lives of the lost crewmen. All three of them were married. Brian Collins and his wife Cheyenne had just celebrated their first wedding anniversary. Someone who knows the pain of losing a spouse in the line of duty is Becky Douglas.
I've had it after 35 years. I can't get rid of it.
She had been married just 1 month when her husband Rex was killed after ejecting from the cockpit of an F-14 after a mishap on the flight deck of the USS Eisenhower in 1979. Her husband landed in the ocean and was dragged to the bottom by his parachute. To this day, he remains missing. She understands how difficult this time is.
Especially with this helicopter accident and the third man who was missing for a few days. And I know exactly what that wife was going through. Initial shock that, something's happened, and then you're so anxious and you just can't sleep and you have nightmares. And then it finally comes true that your worst nightmare has come true. He's never going to come home.
Becky Douglas agreed to do that interview with me as a way of showing her support for the families of the fallen helicopter crew. Today's memorial service is just the first step toward closure for those families. Now they await the results of the accident investigation. More on that side of the story coming up tonight at 6. Art Kohn, 10 on Your Side.